Hey everyone, it's a Patient Hodler coming at you with another very quick market update, and it's looking exceptionally good here for Bitcoin and the overall crypto space for another big leg of the bull run. But there are now price predictions out here that are absolutely unreasonable, and I don't want you guys to get confused or even wrecked based on those unreasonable predictions based on false data. So this is why we have to have this video today. If you enjoy these very quick updates, then please smash up the like button. Smash the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel with notifications on, and most of all, let me know what you think in the comments below about this. So as you know, since many months, even years, we're looking at this head and shoulders, this inverse head and shoulders pattern where we broke out, we are finding support here and we're going up. But we also know that this is all driven by global liquidity, and we have seen all these global liquidity charts and the gold leading charts in my live streams, Crypto Morning Coffee. You guys that are following me and subscribed, you know already it, and we see that global liquidity is going up in a slowly upward sloping line, which shows us that potentially we are going to go from here grinding up for Bitcoin in the direction of 130 to 150k over the next couple of weeks and months. So far so good, but now we are seeing that there are screenshots that look like this in the market, and this is a problem, right? Because you see this massive M2 spike here in the data, but is it really also happening? Because if the data is wrong, then we have a problem, because then we will not develop in the Bitcoin price and everyone will get wrecked because they're expecting 300 or 400k Bitcoin in the next couple of months. So listen to this, because here's some good analysis why this is happening that I found on Twitter, and I really felt I needed to share this with you guys, because until we were for Bitcoin, it's fine. But here, look at this. India M2 data spike. Is it a bug, right? So we have seen the retroactive spike in global M2 chart. This is only a couple of days or maybe weeks old. The massive pump in global M2 remains solid. That is going on, right? So we cannot call off the entire run, but it's maybe not as massive as people predict here. So to figure out what has caused this global M2 chart spike, this guy went into one by one through all the countries that make up the global M2 data and discovered this spike was caused by a change to a single country's M2 data, India specifically. Every other country appears normal. India is the only country that has this glitch or change to its M2. So we are not sure here if this is a trading view bug or of the data source, or a change that India made specifically to the calculation of their M2. But we can't find data on this being some kind of an official change, which suggests it could be a data bug of some kind. So he was also able to get this change of India's M2 reporting outside of TradingView. It is possible that site uses the same erroneous data source, so we are still jumping on conclusions here if there is legitimacy to this M2 spike. But if it is, then India has printed a shitload of money, like the rupee completely wrecked. We don't know. Upon casual observation, it looks like India's M2 increased by about 10x, almost a perfect 10x. Kind of like the decimal place was just moved right by one, which seems suspicious in itself, right? And we see this, I mean, it's not the gradual printing that goes in steps or so, which you would expect from a country of this size. Also very unlikely that someone just prints 10x the currency in a matter of days or something like that. So if you remove India from the global M2 group, you see basically this projection here also, which would be the real trajectory for then Bitcoin following this M2, right? So it would be somewhere going towards 140 to 170k, right? So we see this also here. This is the India spike in M2, which is absolutely unreasonable. It's a hockey stick, right? And here we see it again, how it should look. So baseline here is for us really to check our bias, right? If we're expecting a run, and we do, right? So don't get me wrong, everything that I mentioned and showed here in these charts in the last months and weeks is still absolutely valid, because these are these charts here where M2 is going nuts. M2 is going up like crazy because all the countries are now going towards quantitative easing to save their economies and so on. But we really see here Bitcoin is following it to the T. We might get a dip fairly soon, but excluding India, it looks way more natural, way more accurate here. So let's just go with the conservative of this, which is following this line. But still, even though you see we're at 95,000 here on this chart, and then we might get a little bit bigger dip back to 90,000 or something like this, which by the way coincides with an open CME gap that we still have. And then we could continue our projection going somewhere to the 150k area, where we would then expect, depending on how this M2 develops, that we might, maybe this is already the top, who knows, right? Maybe it's not. Maybe we're just going to expand for the rest of the year or something like that, and then we're really in for a treat. Who knows that? But let me know in the comments below what you think of this. Fact is that the exchange balance for Bitcoin is just going down and down and down. Really, in comparison to the other bull markets, you see here how the global Bitcoin supply is just crunched, which would lead more or less to an explosion in the price here, as the price has to be, when there's no offer anymore left, the price needs to be renegotiated to the upside, right? And we also couldn't fall much more than the 74,000 before, because that is basically close to the break even for miners, and then there's no reason for miners to produce or sell any Bitcoin. Then there's even reason for miners with a bigger cash balance to also start buying Bitcoin from the open market and just wait until the price is renegotiated. So all in all, considering that, so the M2 is looking good, but it's not that good as this India explosion. So that, don't get confused. You will see a lot of posts that will just project Bitcoin somewhere in a straight line to the upside based on that probably false data coming from India. But what is really, really bullish is inverse head and shoulders. We have the breakout, we have the retest, and now we just started our continuation. So just based on that and what I just presented, we should be extremely, extremely bullish here. So let me know what you think about this. Smash up the like button if you want more of these updates. Subscribe to the channel, and wherever you are on the world, have a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. I'll catch you in the next video or live stream. Bye.